So Raw was canceled last week, and while I fully admit I'm late because now I have another Raw to watch while I'm recording the verbal Smackdown for last Thursday's live Smackdown. And let me tell you, I'm actually for a live show, there was almost no like major in-match fuck-ups. At least, you know, you'll see what I mean. Anyways, it's annoying when you're already behind, and then you're irritated, and then you watch TNA, and then you're waiting for something good to come on like Lucha Underground. Which, if I'm going to continue doing this and I want to get on a good pace for this, I'm going to start trying to do things like the next day, if I can, within the next 2 days of something airing. I will try to stay on top of total nonsense analysis and verbal Smackdown at the very least. Okay, so on to Smackdown, the live Smackdown. The first 10 minutes of Smackdown is basically Triple H trying to smooth things over from the Royal Rumble. And proceeds to do this by saying, we were told we can't have a show here, and the one thing in the WWE we don't like is being told what to do. However, we do like telling you who to like. So, hypocrites. Anyways. He announces that the WWE Network has 1 million subscribers. And I would like to note that companies do have ways of artificially inflating those sort of numbers. In fact, companies very often will artificially inflate those sort of numbers through graph manipulation and things like that to appease shareholders. And WWE is really needing to appease shareholders right now. Until I see proof that the announced 1 million subscribers are all current subscribers, I don't believe it. Because you can say you have 1 million subscribers, but that could be total number of people who have subscribed at one point. See, that's the sort of thing corporations will do to skew charts for shareholders. They proceed to then talk about how there was a controversy at the Rumble. And the first thing he talks about is Sting, who wasn't at the Rumble. Then he proceeds to show clips from the Rumble match to show Roman winning. And they leave in the crowd booing. I'll give him that much. They also show how obviously Kane and Big Show could have just turned around and hit Reigns when he tried to dump them out. Because he was so slow at it, there is really no excuse. Then he announces an announcement for next Monday. Because this is SmackDown, and it basically doesn't really matter. But it's going to address the controversy. And in the back of my mind, the only controversy I could possibly think of is Curtis Axel never getting eliminated for the Rumble. Granted, this is not the first time this sort of situation has ever happened. It's happened at least 2 other times, and I know one of them was Spike Dudley. But to be fair, could you ever really see Spike Dudley challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship and actually having a shot? I couldn't. Then Reigns comes out after this. And I take a note that Roman Reigns' music, parts of it sounds like booing. It's weird. Roman took exception to the fact that there was supposedly controversy, and he's like, I won that. I won that match. And also it was mentioned that he took exception to being asked if he was handpicked to be the next guy. He took exception to this. Which is funny, because he fucking was picked to be the next guy. Anyone with half a mind knows that that's fucking true. And I also note that the fans are booing Reigns. So, he's out there, and they proceed to have a match that was already announced, and it's now Roman Reigns versus Big Show. I take note that apparently, despite knowing this match was scheduled for tonight, King sounds extremely surprised that Big Show comes out for the match. I also note that I think that the WWE is actually doing a very good job if they want Roman Reigns to be the one to replace Cena if Cena ever leaves, because they already have the crowd doing the "Let's go Roman, Roman sucks" chant. Some of the worst part. This is probably the worst match of the night too. Big Show is selling punches to the head that are being thrown at his arm that is at his side. And then apparently at some point during a commercial break, Roman Reigns' leg got injured. We see clips from the commercial break about what happened during the commercial break. None of it showing what happened to Roman's leg. There's at one point where Roman gets put up on the ropes, where he's holding the ropes, and Big Show has him, and he puts both his feet around Big Show's head. You know, this move. It's what the little guys do. They do the little head scissors thing, where they do that, and then they grab their head and then use momentum and swing them out over the top rope with their legs. Roman does this so horribly. He falls off Big Show before even starting the turn, and Big Show still goes right the fuck over. Looks so fucking bad. Reigns wins because Big Show went to the top rope, even though I don't know if Big Show has ever pulled off a fucking top rope maneuver. And, being as big as you are and as strong as you supposedly are, it's really stupid for you to go to the top rope because it takes you so fucking long that Roman Reigns gets up and Superman punches him two times until he falls off, or until he throws him off, and then he spears him for the win. That match was horrible. And if that is, I attribute it probably mostly to the Big Show, because the Big Show's getting up there, and he's never has been the most confident worker. However, if this also is setting what is in the future for Roman's not ever going to get over as the champion or as a main eventer right now, because he sucks. If this was any indicator, Roman kind of sucks. We proceed to be told that Arnold Schwarzenegger is getting put into the WWE Hall of Fame. Fair enough. Seth Rollins then starts boasting about breaking Lesnar's ribs. I want proof that he broke Lesnar's ribs. The only thing that we ever had, the only evidence we were ever told was at the Royal Rumble, a paramedic said that Lesnar at least has a broken rib. I can tell you right now, my dad is a paramedic, and again, I think I may have said this in the Royal Rumble one, a paramedic does not have the training or authority to accurately assess you and your injuries enough to determine if you have a broken bone. In fact, when my girlfriend broke both the bones in her leg, the paramedic said she's fine, it's just sprained. She snapped both of the bones in half. Then Seth Rollins proceeds to issue an open challenge, which would make this then the second match of the night, except the match never starts. And if you could guess who, without watching the episode of Smackdown, came to answer the open challenge, ding, 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 Ryback. Of course it's Ryback. J&J Security proceed to jump Ryback, and it basically is a 3-on-1 beatdown. And then Eric Rowan comes in for the save. One kick from Rollins takes down Rowan, though. And then Ziggler comes in for the save. And at the end of this, JJ Security and Rollins just run away. Like they seem to almost always do. Whenever they don't have to do something. And then, because there was an announcement of a casket match tonight between Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to call him, and Kane. We proceed to have a promo from Kane, where apparently he has a boner for the casket. I don't know what was up with him, but this was one of his worst promos I've heard in years. And then there's one point where he describes a heart thumping, and then he goes thump 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 thump, and it's so terrible. And it makes him look more like a joke than he already does as in his corporate Citizen Kane gimmick. Then it's announced that Cena is apparently taking on Rusev at Fastlane. I ask, so is it for the U.S. title? Is that not on the line? Well, fuck that match. We finally get our actual second match of the night, and it's Jey Uso versus Tyson Kidd. Because now we're going to have 4 weeks of different Tyson Kidd and Cesaro versus the Usos. And by the time the pay-per-view comes around at Fastlane and we actually have the championship match, we're going to be sick of it. It's actually a very fast-paced match, really technical, and it's really actually a really good match for these two. Unfortunately, it just was not a very long match. Also, for some reason, instead of talking about for the match, for the most part, the announcers are talking about Natalya and Naomi on the outside. And then Tyson Kidd wins with the only thing I could describe as a T-bone suplex, where instead of lifting him up and flipping him over, he just kind of falls to the side. I don't know. I also have to note Byron Saxton is on commentary, and he is about as annoying and accurate as Matt Striker has always been. So that's lovely. Rusev comes out. Byron Saxton saying that Rusev is undefeated. This is absolutely not true. He's just never been pinned or has submitted. Rusev says he should have been declared winner of the Royal Rumble match. No, Rusev, you shouldn't. You were eliminated fairly. The only person with a claim to the match whatsoever is Curtis Axel. And I guarantee you they're not going to run with that. He's like, and then they give me John Cena, who is not a challenge. And apparently Brock is, because he wants to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Please bearing in mind that out of the last 3 singles matches Brock has had with Cena, he's lost 2 of them. Yeah, John Cena's not a challenge. When Cena comes out, even he says that Rusev is undefeated. Again, this is not true. Even if you want to say, even if we don't want to count like Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble, these big multi-man matches, he is not even undefeated in singles matches. There was a Smackdown like a month or 2 ago where he lost via countout to Ryback. He is not undefeated. When in the record book, there's a tally under loss. I don't care what the reason for the loss is, DQ, or countout, or pin, or submission, or whatever. It's a fucking loss. Rusev has lost. He is not undefeated. Stop lying. This is the first time in years I've noticed Cena looks like he's ready to cry. Because he said Cena's not a challenge. And he called him a loser. This is also the closest thing I've ever seen to Cena being a heel in a long time. Since Cena is boasting about his accomplishments. He's boasting about his accomplishments kind of like how a heel would, where he's talking about things he's done. And he said this really weird line, it made me uncomfortable, where he said, I was holding that U.S. title belt before you had pubes, and he points at Lana and goes, and before she had boobs. That was weird. I really want the Doctor of Thugonomics back, because the Doctor of Thugonomics would have come up with something better. And then Cena proceeds to challenge Rusev to a fight right then and there. And Rusev just walks away. I don't know if it's because he's scared or whatever. And then Serena proceeds to say, at Fastlane, the champ is here. So I'm asking, does this mean that it's a title match now? Because if not, because he's not a champ unless it's for the title. Because he doesn't have a title. It's announced that Paige gets a Divas title match at Fastlane. Why, I don't know, because they lost to the Bellas at Royal Rumble. So I wonder if there's a reason. All I can assume is it has something to do with Total Divas, and I do not watch Total Divas. I will never watch Total Divas. Total Divas has absolutely no appeal to me. She's having an interview, and the Bellas interrupt, pointing out some things like her hair, her outfit, and how pale she is. And they say that she kind of looks like a blood-sucking vampire. Which is funny because this is a company that has had both Kevin Thorne and Gangrel. I think they would know what a blood-sucking vampires look like because those two were literally in character blood-sucking vampires. We have a Gold and Stardust match versus the Ascension. I know that Connor and Victor are so cheesy they actually make Stardust kind of look credible. That's pretty bad. It's really all I have to say about that match because I really don't care about talking about the Ascension. Right now they suck. There's a weird Bray Wyatt promo that makes as little sense as it usually does. Unless it's supposed to really vaguely be leading to a match with Undertaker at WrestleMania, which I have no idea. I know the Undertaker had a bad concussion at last WrestleMania. I don't know if he's going to be wrestling this year. And I also would like to know when Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose's feud ended, what it was about, and what was accomplished with it. I don't think there's any real good answers to any of that. And then we have the Kane versus Daniel Bryan casket match. I can assume there's no actual reason for this match other than they were both in the Rumble and Kane eliminated Bryan. But so did the Big Show, so I don't really understand this. There's also really no other reason for this to be a casket match. I guess it's just because Kane is in it? I don't really know. I do note that Daniel kind of looks like he's wearing Ugg boots. They look padded on the outside, which I think is really weird considering kicks are a big part of his arsenal, and I think having really extra padded boots would make your kicks a lot less effective. I note that I don't really have much else to say about this match. Daniel Bryan wins, and that's the end of the night. So I don't watch Smackdown that often. It's probably the first one I've seen him since before Survivor Series, and it was okay. Had one really good match for the average WWE matches, and one match that was pretty good because Daniel Bryan was in it, and Kane was in it, and Kane always works pretty decent matches. He's always a pretty solid worker, at least. And then two matches that bored me half to death, one of them being Roman Reigns. So, whatever. Now I get to watch Raw. So, yay for me. Everyone take care. Watch Lucha Underground or something. Seriously, it's a lot better than this shit. Shit.